starting now. I had to save the cat. I had to save the cat. I'm a normal man having a normal day starting now.
So, yeah, this is my favorite part. It didn't like it was like 3 minutes into the show, into Superman show, My Adventures with Superman. 3 minutes into the show, and he saves the cat, and I love this moment because it's just a reminder that the Zack Snyderverse is gone. But um, if you want to know, yes, this show is amazing. I think we're having this moment where we're finally coming back to uh the Superman that we know of. This is the if you've never read the books, this is the first Christopher Reeves Superman. This is the return to the 90s good-hearted Superman. This is everything. I love it. I love every minute of it. But in a way, let's talk about that. This what I love about this is the fact that we finally get to understand not this cartoon. We are seeing we're seeing Superman come back. How about that? In a time when we've been so dominated with the concept of retelling Batman story after Batman story that producers, studios have no understanding beyond the Batman because they've never really read the books, right? Um, so it's fun to see, and DC had a horrible run when it came to the movies, but Arrowverse, time and time again, somehow manages to do something amazing with it. Um, to the point where their spinoff, Superman and Lois, is like the greatest thing to watch. It is a joy to watch. It is, and if you they just finished season three, which I just realized they finished season three, which really not sucks because the way it ended really makes me mad. Sorry if you hear the air conditioning running in the background. It's hot. It's summer, but just just like the saving the cat in the cartoon, Superman and Lois in season one starts very strong with the original iconic suit, and it's just happy boyish charm, and it just keeps going with like the perfect Lois. The boys are amazing. Even I miss that they changed the cast, but surprisingly, the new actor of I'm blanking on names. The new actor of John Kent is surprisingly good, and just it took like two episodes of season yeah it took like two episodes of season three for me to kind of just accept that that he's John. I think it's more because like um was it the new actor? I'm gonna suck all of it. Yeah. Let's see if I can find him. Yeah, the new actor. He looks more. He looks more like Alex Garfin. He looks like a brother to him. So I mean, it works out. But in a way, I kind of actually wanted to talk more about something when it came to like Superman and the greater idea of the DC universe. Um, actually, let me see if I could find. that one. And it's something that Superman and Lois actually did to really kind of like hammer home who Superman really is, right? So let me jump back for a second. And I'm sorry I'm using YouTube for like majority of this, but eh, I'm not great at production. So there's this thing we always do, right? I think the Reddit post really does a great job of it, right? DC heroes are gods trying to be men, while Marvel characters are humans dealing with godlike what is it, events, right? This is one of those things that really kind of irks me when it comes to this idea of DC versus Marvel. And it's not their fault. Let's be real. Marvel also has always written some great stories of personal stakes. Um, I think this really started happening around Spider-Man and the X-Men, where they really focused more on like the personal, the personal, was it more the relationships with all the heroes rather than the villains. Majority of the time, it felt more like a soap opera, um, where we're really kind of dealing with how's this love triangle going on? Where's this person going to be in a relationship? How's this person coping with loss or trauma or something, rather than the idea of villain of the week, right? Meanwhile, with DC, it really is about the villains. Yes, there's some personal growth, but really it's more about the exploration of the villains. And in a way, sometimes even just a deeper dive on the psyche of the villains rather than the psyche of the hero, right? Now, for us, this is kind of like and by doubling down on the heroes, on the villains, DC has always, in a way, kept their heroes in their costumes more than take them out of it, which is the difference between Marvel and DC. Marvel takes the time to deal with to hang out with these characters outside of costume in regular clothes, as opposed to DC is constantly having them in costume, and rarely at times are they in civilian uniform, right? Um, so in a way, this is where we get the whole Marvel characters are just gods because they're constantly in these uniforms, constantly. This is their image that they've constantly been shown, right? I'm actually going to bring up a reason for this. We got a new one. Let's bring up our gods, as they say, right? What Superman and Lois at one point did that blew my mind is Superman and Lois introduced Kyle, Kyle Cushing, right? Great character, awesome character, but let me see if we could get him in his firefighter outfit. I don't think I'm going to find him in his firefighter outfit. No, his uniform at least. So What happened was here's the story of Lana Lang marrying this firefighter. And as we are going through the whole, well, Superman and Lois kind of bucks the trend and shows these people as humans, just regular people. Again, just like the Marvel way, here are people in civilian clothes living their lives, and then random things happen, right? And the show itself revolves around a lot of things, but surprisingly, it revolves around two families: Superman, Lois, and their two sons, Kyle, Lana, and their two daughters. Mostly Sarah, because the other one's always vanishing randomly, right? And what's amazing is here is a story that possibly has just shown us what Superman really is. Is he a god? No. Superman is a firefighter. And let's be real here. We already know Batman is a cop. Batman is a detective. We already know that. For years, we've always said it. He's the greatest detective. But he's also working with the GCPD, right? We know Superman is a cop. I mean, we know Batman as a cop. But I don't think we've all ever considered Superman as a firefighter, right? But here's a story that kind of shows the struggles of two dads, right? Both they, when trouble calls, they go and respond. Superman saves the day, but he stops crises, just like Kyle does when there's a fire and he tries to save the day. They're both the same man, just one's flawed, right? And this is why I love Kyle. Oh my goodness, I love Kyle in this show. He is like the greatest thing added to this, right? Um, and season three really kind of did a great job marrying both of them, marrying not physically marry, but marrying the concept of that Superman is a firefighter, right? Which then now looking at our pantheon of gods, we really realize that maybe we're not looking at gods among men. We're looking at first responders doing their job, supernatural response, first responders, right? Um, so let me take. Should I take this picture? I'll take this picture. There we go. Now, are all the first responders here? Not really. I'm kind of generally saying first responder, but in a way, we might actually be dabbling with other people, other professions that help out, right? But let's first look at the basics. And maybe just by looking at this, maybe we can recontextualize how we should write a DC story, right? Where are my layers? There are my layers. There. Okay. Looking at the pairing, we already know. Am I doing this pen? Yeah, probably I'll do it with that pen, but not that big. I'm testing pens out. You know what? Let's go back to my regular pencil. All right. So we already know Batman is a police officer. I'm doing a horrible job of this badge. I really should just do like the standard horrible police badge. Yeah, whatever. All right. Batman is a police officer. Done. We already know that. Superman. Superman is a firefighter. All right. Uh, let's do the firefighter helmet. It's a horrible firefighter helmet, but it's a firefighter helmet. Okay, so check. Basically, you're him. I think this is a cop. Yep, because there's a gun. All right. Oh, yeah, that's the badge. There we go. In this situation, Batman's whole thing is just, work with the police, try to stop them things, try to stop criminals from doing whatever. Superman's whole thing is essentially stuff's about to go down, or there's some danger, there's some catastrophe. Let me go save people, make sure people are out of harm's way, try to mitigate the disaster, and then eventually see how the damage and or yeah, see how the damage was created. Essentially, what a firefighter does, right? They're a detective. They're a detective in their own way. Wonder Woman's interesting. Yes, Wonder Woman. There we go. Is interesting. Drawing her outfit instead of just drawing this Wonder Woman logo that was supposed to be the thing. There we go. But is she hard to figure out? No, really. Her whole thing is look at her past, right? Wonder Woman is a soldier. She joined the military back in World War II or World War One, if you want to go by the movies. And ever since, every single time we've introduced her as a character, she's a little more militant. Yes, she's a feminist, but she's also a militant. She's a soldier. That's all she is. She's been born as one, fought in wars, moving on. So essentially, am I saying her story should be about the military? No, but there's something about the TV show that I kind of like the original TV show with Linda Carter, that I like that she joined the military as a secretary. And in a way, that kind of works. I kind of missed the alter ego. What if she was just in the military, just spying, not as a double agent or anything. Just this is how she gets her information, right? This is how she figures out problems. She goes out and mitigates disasters created by terrorists. I don't know. You know, more to ponder on that later. Another video, probably. Okay, so we got three. Here's the awkward side one, right? Flash. Flash. I don't know if anyone's seen like the 80s cartoon, but a lot of times when someone brings up Flash, they bring up that one particular cartoon where Flash is hanging out with Batman, and I can't remember who the other guy is on Flash Day. And when they find it, the whole story is about how four criminals of like Flash's rogues gallery wants to stop him, and they all have this crazy idea, and then they just walk into a bar. Batman tries to intimidate. Did they find the trickster? One of the bad guys. One tries to intimidate. The other one tries to bully. Flash pushes them both aside and sits down and starts talking about him, just talking to him like, "Is hey, you're off your meds again, right? You know this is bad. We want to talk about something. What's guys doing?" And then simply just talking to the guy, he figured out what was going on. There's multiple times where in the comics they're just Flash speeding through everything, but trying to talk to people. So I don't know if there is like a logo or anything. So I'm just gonna do a clipboard. But what I think Flash is Flash is a social worker. He cares. He's in it to care. His whole goal, even in the end, at the end, is just to make sure everyone's good. If you've seen the Flash movie, there was a moment right in the beginning where he kind of mentions trauma. Genius. Is the movie great? I think it was good. But that moment right there of Flash talking about trauma kind of screams social worker, right? So what is Flash? A social worker. Done. Simple as that, right? Um, so what else? Does Aquaman have a logo? I can't remember if Aquaman had a logo. Let's do the Trident. I think he's just got the Trident. So let's do Trident. What is Aquaman? A child from an underwater kingdom that protects the sea. So Coast Guard. uh I don't know what the Coast Guard logo is, but Guy of the Sea. Cop of the Sea, right? What is Hal Jordan? What is the Green Lantern? I would say Green Lantern. Oh, that's a good question. Because in a way, Hal Jordan could be a Coast Guard as well, but for space, right? If you want to make a joke, he is Space Force. Does any of these characters relate to any medical service? I don't know. Maybe Martian Manhunter does, but I haven't read a lot of Martian Manhunter's stories to to know if he is essentially like a nurse or an EMT or whatever, right? Again, majority of these characters kind of just show up and beat you up. But it's not what they do. It's not about the beating up. It's about how do they approach the situation? How do they see things? Right? So I don't know. I might dive deeper into other characters from the Justice League. But in another video, I kind of just want to take this idea of these characters and then dissect their villains and how you could probably just do a better job with the villains. Batman, we already know. Batman's rogue gallery is amazing. Everyone knows that they're essentially the opposite psyche of Batman. Fractures of his fractures and mirrors of his personality. And it kind of works. But I feel like when it comes to Superman, we've kind of just been all over the spectrum with Lex Luthor. And he doesn't really feel like Lex Luthor has a stake in Superman or Superman has a stake in Lex Luthor. They're just villains to be villains, if that makes sense. So I kind of want to dive deeper into that and maybe even bring up a weird old franchise of the Thunderbirds to kind of help that relationship be a little stronger. So I don't know. Tell me what you think about this. If you have a better idea of like who these characters really pair off to when it comes to or pair up with when it comes to first responders, I'd like to see it in the comment. All right. So see ya. If I get stop recording.